Hi guys, this is Dormouse03, and this is The Evil Within, Akumu difficulty, Chapter 9. So, per usual, I have sped up the beginning of this video where I'm showing you all of the lockers that I'm opening, and the stuff that I'm picking up, and the upgrades and stuff that I'm making, just so that you can see this stuff, so that you get an idea of kind of how much I've upgraded, what I'm upgrading, that sort of thing. And then we are going to be moving into Chapter 9 here, and similar to Chapter 7 and 8, Chapter 9 is kind of another slow chapter where there aren't a ton of enemies. It's more of a stealth chapter than anything else. So this is an opportunity to use a lot more stealth than you have been able to in the previous chapters, because you can't really use stealth against the alter egos in chapters 7 and 8. But this chapter is a return to the regular zombies, or regular haunted. And so there is more of an opportunity for using stealth, getting some of those stealth kills, not using as much ammo and stuff, and being able to, again, continue to build back up from where you used a lot of it probably in Chapter 6. So I'm just finishing up my upgrades here. I am continuing to put more points into the clip capacities and the stock for the ammo for a lot of my weapons, and that is, again, to just try to build that arsenal up, you know, to be able to carry as much ammunition as possible, because after you get through this chapter, from 10 until the end, you're going to really need to be using some of this ammunition that you've conserved throughout the rest of the game. And so here we go on into the actual level out of this hospital. You'll kind of take a little walk toward this sunflower, and you'll see Ruvik, and Ruvik makes several appearances, or potentially several appearances in this chapter. On the right there is your next map fragment. And then there's a bunch of stuff to sort of break boxes and collect things and be able to pick up some things before you actually enter the mansion. So don't be too quick to enter the mansion section, even though for those of you who really love the first Resident Evil, you will kind of be excited to get to this section because it's very similar. But you run around here, you know, continue to explore and pick up stuff. There is a statue in the tree to the right of the doors to the mansion, and you can shoot that statue. That's your first statue for this chapter. So we're going to shoot that and pick up the key. And I said that Ruvik can make himself known in this chapter a few times, and the number of times that he shows up is kind of random. And sometimes if you get a checkpoint or if you make a save and he shows up like right after that, when you reload, if you have to reload, he won't show up again for a while. And I don't really understand whether it's just completely random or if he's supposed to spawn at certain times, like if it's on a timer, or if getting a checkpoint or something like that, or reloading from the checkpoint resets that timer. So I'm not really 100% sure about this, but all I know is when he shows up on this difficulty, he sticks around for a long time.
Now what?
And he is very fast. So there was the checkpoint when you get in, and there was the crossfade from where I died. Again, I'm going to be disarming some of the traps here, so I did die a few times on this level just from messing up disarming some of these traps, because they are so easy to mess up. It's just not even funny. And I feel like you do get better at them, but I never felt like, oh yeah, I've got this, no worries, I'll definitely be able to disarm these traps, no problem. Because they're too finicky. In that area, there is sometimes a zombie or two that are eating that body, but for whatever reason, sometimes when you reload, they just aren't there anymore, and that's random, but there it is. There was your second statue up there on those shelves, and now we're going to go to the first of the brain puzzles. So this first one, you want to place the pin right about where I place it. It's kind of in the lower left section of the brain here. And I know where these pin placements are because I've done this a bunch of times, but if you look at the little map of the brain on the left and listen to the tape, it will tell you which section you want to put it in, and you just place the pin there. So it's not super difficult to figure out how to do. And I picked up that hatchet from the ground because there's a haunted that's going to burst through that door, and you want to be prepared to hatchet that person in the face. Take care of that. And then I am going to go make a save. This is another chapter where you really can make use of this save room as often as it takes for you to get through this level. If you're struggling with this level, if, Ruvik keeps killing you, or, you are concerned about being able to disarm the traps and things like I was, you can make some safety saves there. You can go back to that room as many times as you want to and make some safety saves. And I would definitely recommend doing that, especially for the traps, because I feel like, if you get through a section and you've made a lot of progress, and you know that at any moment Ruvik could turn up, and then you have to disarm a trap again because he showed up and killed you, that's sort of irritating. And so, make use of the save room as much as you feel like you need to. Up there in the corner of the ceiling in this room was our third statue, and right there was one of the dials to open up a room that we're going to go to a little later on. You're going to need 2 of those dials. I always smash the vases in this area, although they never seem to give me anything. I'm not sure. I smashed the vases, and I've smashed the mannequins before, and neither of those things ever seem to give me any kind of loot or whatnot. So I don't know if they're just breakable items or what, but in any case, I made another save because I got tired of having to go back to that room after I messed up this trap. And we're going to be going over here, disarming a trap, picking up some stuff, and getting the second dial for the safe in the music room that's downstairs that we're going to be going to in a little while. But that trap right there, I had a difficult time with. And so the enemy placements on this level are a little bit random. So I can't guarantee you that there are going to be enemies for you where there are enemies for me. There are certain spots where there usually are enemies, but again, it's kind of random where they end up. Generally, there are a couple of zombies up at the top of that ladder, but as you saw that time, there was no one there for me. So just be aware that sometimes there are zombies there, and so just use that information wisely. Here is another save, because I'm about to do a more lengthy section And I did not want to have to disarm that trap again. And, you know, I'm honest. I'm honest about my hoarding of the saves during this section because, I don't know, it's just, it's so hard to do those traps for me that I really just don't want to have to do them more than I have to. And, you know, this section right here, I knew was going to be long. I knew Rubik could come up at any moment and kill me, and I didn't want to have to do it again. So, there you go. For these two guys, you want to sneak up on the guy on the right. If you try to sneak up on the guy on the left, the guy on the right will turn around and kill you. But the guy on the left always goes for that hatchet that's on the table. So if you sneak up and sneaky kill the guy on the right, you can then kill the guy with the hatchet and he won't be a problem for you. So pick up the hatchet, pick up some of the stuff in this room, and there's going to be a tiny little cut here. I stopped my recording and made another one. So I don't know. I think I edited that pretty well, but I had to pause there. And when you go into this room, I sort of immediately come back to this back section here, and I kind of hide behind this room divider, I guess it is. And it seems like it's not very, it shouldn't be very good cover, but it actually kind of is. There's going to be 2 zombies that come into these 2 rooms, and the first one will walk right by you right here, and you can sneak kill him when he passes. And so it feels like you're super exposed right here, but I've never had them see me hiding behind that little room divider thing. So we kill that guy, pick the hatchet back up just in case you get seen, pick up this med kit even though you don't need it. And I never really used the med kits very much. Ever. So it's just kind of a resource that was weird to me. But there's the second guy. You can, again, sneak kill him and pick up anything else in the room that you didn't pick up and move forward. There's going to be a trap to my left, and I'm not going to bother with that one because that's a long section to have to do again if you mess that up. And right here is going to be a sort of trap that always happens. Whenever you run up that room, there's going to be this thing that's kind of sucking you in, and you just want to shoot the top of it. That really reminds me a lot of Dead Space 2, when the windows would blow out. Map fragment for you. The windows on the spaceship would blow out, and you would have to shoot the little thing over the door to, like, close the door or close the window. And there were a lot of those moments. There's your next statue. 4th statue. I think there are 5 statues on this level, which is as much, if not more, than any other level on this game. But yeah, there were a ton of those window sequences where you're getting sucked out of the window in Dead Space 2, and I'm sort of glad that there was only one of those moments in this game, because the aim on this is nowhere near as reliable as the aim on Dead Space. So, thank goodness you only have to do one of those sequences. But here is your next brain. The point is near the back. Right about here. It's right about that where the sort of black dot area in the back there is. But that's kind of the area where you want to place the pin. And it's so funny. I think these brains are nowhere near anatomically correct. Like, fear does not live back there in your occipital lobe. That's where you see. That's where you have sight. You know, fear is in the amygdala and limbic system of the brain. And so, I don't know. But they tried. They tried. So we got to give them credit for effort in trying to make something out of that. And I did like the sticking of the pins into the brains. I thought that was really cool, and how the people, like, their eyes move and stuff. I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. There is a guy laying on the ground right here, and if you sneak up to him, you can burn him before he gets up. And then when you move toward the door, there's generally a guy in a mask that will smash through. And I believe he may have a gun. So you just want to be really careful of him. Nah, he has a hatchet. But still, be really careful of him. And so you get to replace your hatchet, which is very nice indeed. And I went ahead and took the risk of disarming that trap. Although if I had messed that up, it would have been all the way back to when I saved. So I was really brazen at that moment. But there you have it. So that's 2 of the brain puzzles down, and now we're just going to be going for the 3rd one. Made a little save there. Oh, I guess I wouldn't have gone all the way back, because I got a checkpoint after I put the pin in the 2nd brain, so it wasn't as bold of a move trying to disarm that trap as I made it out to be. I wouldn't have gone back that far, and that's probably why I chose to do it. So I wasn't as stupid when I was playing as I am now when I'm trying to commentate. And so we're going to head into this room, and the first thing that I'm going to do is disarm this trap. Because I made a save so that I wouldn't have to worry about dying there. And then we're going to move on. And I think that I'm going to kill the zombie that's in the other room before I go and... Or maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'm just going to go and get the checkpoint. Yeah, that's probably a better idea, to go and get the checkpoint since you disarmed the trap successfully. So I'm going to move into the room with the last brain puzzle, and to do that you have to use the 2 safe dials that you picked up from upstairs. And this was a kind of a puzzle that you had to solve. You had to look and see how many people were in each of the paintings, and there were 11 above and 2 below, and that is the combination for that little door. And that jump scare right there. Ooh. And so here's your last cross section of brain. And you want to put it in the little curvy shaped thing. I believe that might be the hippocampus. It could be. I'm kind of not one really great with brain structure, but it's this little curvy part kind of in the middle, and you want to put it about there. And so there is your checkpoint, and there is your crossfade, because this next section is kind of tricky, because when you move back into the room, you're going to have a big guy and one of the masked guys with a sawn-off shotgun. and they can kill you real fast. So I want to immediately put a bolt into Mr. Shotgun guy, and for whatever reason that match did not kill that big guy, and then my harpoon clipped on nothing on the edge of the corner there. It was very strange. And so that was one more harpoon than I wanted to use. I thought that I was going to be able to get them with one harpoon and one match there, but the big guy did not want to light up, and then the harpoon did not want to. It wanted to clip on the invisible corner. And so, it's okay. But yeah, that guy will shoot you very quickly, so you want to get him downed as soon as possible. The guy with the shotgun. So then I'm going to try to sneak up on this lady, but she turns around, and so I'm going to have to do some work on her. There's a bottle right here, and I'm going to pick it up and throw it in her face, because she made me mad, so she gets a bottle in the face. There's no way she could have turned around that quickly, and I guess she doesn't get a bottle in the face because I failed at throwing that bottle in her face. So I have to run up here and get another bottle to throw in her face. I was darn determined to throw a bottle in this woman's face. Like, I wanted her to have some glass in her eyes. And that one was successful. So there you have it. I don't know why she turns around there. Like, what was it that made her know that I was behind her? I'm not sure. And now that I'm watching this again, I feel like I have successfully snuck up on her, but I remember more often than not being successful at sneaking up on her. And so I don't know if she has heightened awareness or whether she just turns around, like you need to get behind her more quickly than I did just then, or what. But in any case, she got a nice bottle in the face, and we are about to move on to the next section of this level. So that's all 3 brains down. The door in the middle will now open, and we can move on to the next section of Chapter 9. And so I will see you guys there. Thanks for watching.